The invitation for Jacob to move to Egypt is initially met with disbelief. Genesis 45:26-28 describes, "They told him, 'Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is ruler of all Egypt.' Jacob was stunned. He did not believe them. But when they told him everything Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts Joseph had sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. And Israel said, 'I'm convinced. My son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see him before I die.'" Jacob's initial hesitation is understandable given the magnitude of the news. However, he receives divine confirmation in Beersheba, as narrated in Genesis 46:2-4. "And God spoke to Israel in a vision at night and said, 'Jacob, Jacob.' 'Here I am,' he replied. Then God said, 'I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for I will make you into a great nation there. I will go down to Egypt with you, and I will surely bring you back again, and Joseph's own hand will close your eyes.'" The journey to Egypt and the emotional reunion with Joseph are described in Genesis 46:29-30. Joseph had his chariot made ready and went to Goshen to meet his father Israel. As soon as Joseph appeared before him, he threw his arms around his father and wept for a long time. Israel said to Joseph, "Now I am ready to die, since I have seen for myself that you are still alive." The settlement in the land of Goshen marks the beginning of the final phase of Jacob's life. Genesis 47:7-10 narrates Jacob's encounter with Pharaoh. Then Joseph brought his father Jacob in and presented him before Pharaoh. After Jacob blessed Pharaoh, Pharaoh asked him, "How old are you?" And Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The years of my pilgrimage are 130. My years have been few and difficult, and they do not equal the years of the pilgrimage of my fathers." Then Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from his presence. The last 17 years of Jacob's life in Egypt were a time of relative peace and prosperity. Genesis 47:27-28 summarizes, "Now the Israelites settled in Egypt in the region of Goshen. They acquired property there and were fruitful and increased greatly in number. Jacob lived in Egypt 17 years, and the years of his life were 147. Jacob's final blessings are recorded in Genesis 48 and 49. He adopts Ephraim and Manasseh, Joseph's sons, as his own, elevating them to the status of tribes. In a reflection of his own story, Jacob crosses his hands as he blesses them, giving the younger, Ephraim, the greater blessing. The prophecies for each of Jacob's 12 sons, narrated in Genesis 49, are rich in symbolism and meaning for Israel's future as a nation. Each son receives a blessing, or in some cases, a rebuke, that will shape the destiny of his tribe. Jacob's instructions for his burial are clear and emphatic. Genesis 49:29-32 records, "Then Jacob gave them these instructions. I am about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite, the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre in Canaan, which Abraham bought along with the field as a burial place from Ephron the Hittite. There Abraham and his wife Sarah were buried. There Isaac and his wife Rebekah were buried, and there I buried Leah." Jacob's death and the national mourning in Egypt are described in Genesis 49:33-53. When Jacob had finished giving instructions to his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed, breathed his last, and was gathered to his people. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph directed the physicians in his service to embalm his father Israel. So the physicians embalmed him, taking a full 40 days, for that was the time required for embalming. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. The grand funeral and burial in the cave of Machpelah, narrated in Genesis 50:7-13, mark the end of Jacob's earthly life but not the end of his legacy. His life, marked by struggles, deceit, loss, and reconciliation, stands as a testament to God's faithfulness and the complexity of the human experience. Jacob's journey shows us that God can use even our failures and struggles to fulfill his purposes. What lessons have you drawn from the life of this patriarch? How does Jacob's story relate to your own journey of faith? If this video touched your heart or made you reflect, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who could benefit from this message. Jacob's story reminds us that transformation is possible for all of us. Did you enjoy this content? Then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos about biblical characters and the life lessons we can learn from them. Remember, just as God worked in Jacob's life, he wants to work in your life too. See you in the next video.